gonna start on the back. So lie yourself down. You're gonna take your arms out into a T shape and just rotate your palms face down. Your hands should be in line with your shoulders. Just take a moment with your feet separated and just allow your knees to knock together for a moment. Just take a few deep breaths in, and as you exhale, you're going to pull the belly in towards the spine and hold the breath out. So you empty the breath. So you inhale, and then you exhale, you pull the belly in towards the spine. Now you want to keep the belly drawing in towards the spine like that. And you're going to lift your knees over the plumb line of your hips. In fact, just a tiny little bit forward, and that will kick on the rectus abdominal muscles. Flex your feet. Then take a deep breath in. Keeping the knees together, so don't let the knees separate. Allow your knees to go halfway towards the right, so they're hovering. Use your right hand to press your left shoulder down. Then come back to center, breathe in. You're going to lift your head up and extend your legs forward. Keeping the lower back pressing to the floor. Bend the knees, inhale, head comes back down. And then allow the knees to go halfway towards the left. Again, keeping the knees together. Use your left hand to push your right shoulder down. Come back to center, breathe in. Lift your head and extend your legs forward, lower back to the floor. Keep going with that. Inhale, head down, bend the knees. Exhale, drop your knees to the right. Knees together, left shoulder to the floor. Inhale, back to center. Lift your head and exhale, extend the legs forward. Bend the knees, drop the head down, inhale. Exhale, knees to the left, push your right shoulder to the floor. Inhale, back to center. So working with the obliques here and the rectus abdominal core, legs forward. Bend the knees, head down, and legs to the right, knees together, left shoulder to the floor. A few more, inhale, back to center, head lifts, legs go forward. That will help you to use the rectus abdominal muscles when you lift your head. Bend the knees, inhale, knees to the left, knees together. So using adduction of the legs, squeezing the legs together. Back to center, inhale, legs forward, head lifts. Back to bending the knees, head down, knees to the right. Center, knees lift, inhale, head lifts, legs forward, exhale. Knees bend, head comes down, inhale, knees to the left, exhale. Back to center, breathe in, head lifts, look forward, extend the legs forward. Bend the knees a little bit different now, drop your head. Allow your knees to go halfway towards the right, pause there, keep the left shoulder grounded and see if you can extend your left leg with your knees together so your knees are touching. So we'll put a little bit more weight on those oblique muscles. Maybe you can extend your right leg, otherwise keep the right knee bent or both knees bent and hold there for the count of 5, for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, come back to center, lift the head, extend your legs forward. Let's do that to the other side. So bend the knees, drop the head. Allow the knees to drop halfway to the left. Pause there, right shoulder to the floor. Either stay like this or see if you can extend your right leg with your knees together, flexing through that right foot. If you can do more, maybe extend your left leg. Otherwise, just both the knees bent or just one leg straight. Stay there for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, come back to center. Legs go forward, head lifts. Maybe your arms forward now and hold there for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw your knees in and relax there. Okay, place your feet onto the floor, arms alongside your body, graze the back of the heel with the middle finger. You want to have your feet parallel, so usually the feeling is that the toes are kind of pigeon-toed in a little bit to get the feet parallel. Now from here, you're going to lift your hips up, hold on underneath your mat, and draw your shoulder blades together. So none of the neck bones are on the floor. They should be like your shoulder blades are coming together, and then the neck spine, the cervical spine, is lifted away from the floor like a tunnel. Ground down through your inner feet and try to lift your hips as high as you can, lengthening your tail towards the back of the knees. Lift your chest towards the chin and then open your throat a little bit. You'll feel a stretch in the back of the neck, but an extension opening through the front of the body there. Stay with it for another 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale 1. 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale 2. Last 1. And exhale 3. Bring your hips down to the floor. So we're going to go into a full rotation here now. So move your pelvis over to the right. So your hips are closer to the right side of your mat than your shoulders. And then just extend your left leg long. Draw your right knee up. And you're going to take a twist, allowing your right knee to drop towards the left. Reach your right arm out to the right in line with the shoulder and turn that right palm face up. You want the back of the right shoulder blade on the floor, and slowly you're trying to get this right knee closer to the floor. But the main important thing is that the back of your right shoulder is on the floor. Look to the right as to also stretch through the scalenes, the muscles of the side of the neck here. Keep your chin down though, don't let your chin poke up to the ceiling. So just creating more rotation through the spine. So when you're playing golf or any sport where there's rotation like that, you've got the flexibility through the spine in a healthy way. This will also stretch the outside of that right hip, so you might feel it down here in the hip area. Okay, draw the belly in. Let's come back to center and do that on the other side. So feet to the floor, move your hips over to the left side of your mat again. So now the left side of your pelvis is closer to the side edge of your mat than your shoulders. Extend your right leg long, left arm out to the left in line with your shoulder, palm face up. Inhale, lift the left knee up. And then exhale, keeping the back of the left shoulder blade on the floor. Twist that left knee towards the right. Then look towards your left hand, so you do that rotation all the way up into the cervical spine as well. Breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe the knee descends towards the floor a little bit deeper. Roll over onto your right side and just sit yourself up. We're just going to do the side plank strengthening. So come on to the left side. This can also be done with the elbow on the floor. Have your knees in line with your hips and move that shoulder away from your ear so you're not sinking into the shoulder. Push the floor away. Hand on your right hip. You're going to lift that left hip up towards the right and then lower down without sinking. So keep pushing your elbow down. So you go up and down, up and down. Keep that going. So we're just working with more range of motion through this underside of the body. this left side, this weaker side. Another 5, lowering all the way down and up. 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to do pulses at the top, so stay lifted and do smaller movements up and down. Eventually, of course, this can be done with the knees lifted, like so, with the right foot in front of the left, but take your time with that. You don't want to be sinking into that left shoulder. Pulsing up. Another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Stay lifted. Lift the right arm up. Move the head back for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's just change over onto the other side just to even that out. So now your right elbow's under your shoulder. Have this forearm more in a diagonal to the corner of your mat there. Knees back in line with the hips, so your knees aren't in front, they're back. Push the floor away with your right elbow. Left hand on your hip, and then we lift up and go through the full range of motion. Tap the side of the hip down. Try to keep this left hip rolling forward, so you're not rolling backwards there. Your left hip is stacked directly on top of the right. Up and down. Move that right shoulder out of your ear. Up and down. Keep pressing your elbow into the floor. Keeping the neck long. Do another 5. And we'll go into the pulses. 4, 3, 2. Now keep the hips lifted and do the tinier movements at the top. A little bit faster, a little bit smaller in range of motion. Strengthening that right side of the body. Do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. You're going to take your right hand underneath your ear. Now move your knees forward. So the femur bones are still in diagonal, pointing down, but the knees are in the front kind of plane of the body. Now you can hold your left hand on top of that left hip so that the hip doesn't roll back. That's definitely the thing you don't want to do. So keep that top hip on top of that lower hip. Keeping the big toes touching, lift your left knee up and then lower it down. So there's no rolling back. The movement is in the hip joint. So we're doing these clamshell positions. Just strengthening the glute muscles in that left hip. Draw the belly in, but breathe through the nose. Moving slowly at first. Might not be able to lift the knee so high, that's fine. Now keep the knee lifted and we do the pulses at the top. There again, use your left hand to push your left hip forward. Tiny little movements in the top range of that movement. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee down, lift your feet up. So we're going to get the more anterior portion of the glute med and the minimus there. So keep, again, that left hip from rolling backwards. Your big toes are touching, and then your knees are opening and closing through more of the full range. Relax your face, your eyes, your jaw. Almost there. So you should start to feel this burning if you haven't already, especially in that top hip. Another 4, 3, 2. Now keep the knee lifted, and you're going to do pulses. Keep going, almost there. Another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your legs down. Now I'm going to change to the other side. Now if you can't do the other side yet, you can just skip forward of this and just concentrate on that left side. But just so you have this for when you can start to do both sides. So have the knees forward again. Use your right hand to push that right hip forward, and you're going to lift the knee up and down. And if it's not available for you, just skip this part and move on to the next exercise. You shouldn't feel any pain or any nervy pain. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the knee lifted and do pulses. Doing that high range again. Try not to roll backwards. In fact, you want the right hip point slightly in front of the left hip point. The movements are small in that high range. Big toes are still touching. So you're forcing the leg into external rotation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the feet up. Now we get more to the anterior portion, the glute minimus muscle and the front of the glute medius muscle. Big toe still touching, and you're going through the full range there without rolling back. And if it helps keep your hand there, pushing the pelvis forward, then do so. Five, 4. We've got one more exercise after this. 3, 2. Now keep the knee lifted and do pulses. Big toes are touching, feet are still elevated. Draw the belly in. Keep going, almost there. Another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll onto your back. So let's just stretch that out. So have your feet as wide as your mat. And then you're just going to allow your knees to drop over towards the right. So the left knee falls into the midline, so it's an inward rotation there. So that left foot's still touching the side edge of your mat. If it feels okay, you can place your right ankle on top of your left knee, and that will stretch out those external rotators. And you take your arms out into cactus arms, so you're stretching the pectoral muscles. the belly in. And then lift the knees through center. Feet as wide as your mat. Let's do that to the other side. So allow your knees to drop to the left. Pause there. If you want more, you can place your left ankle on top of your right knee. And now we're stretching through that right outer hip. Elbows in line with your shoulders. If it's too much and your hands don't reach the floor, just have your arms in a T shape. You'll still get those pectoral muscles, but it'll be a little bit more easeful on the shoulders. Come back onto your back. Now place your right ankle in front of that left thigh and move the right knee forward. Don't let the hip sway to the left though, so keep the left hip pushing to the right as the right knee goes forward, so your pelvis is central on your mat. Lengthen your right inner ankle, and then maybe you can interlace your fingers behind the left hamstring there. Move your left knee towards your left shoulder, not your nose. So left knee, left shoulder, rather than your nose. Keep flexing your right foot and moving your right knee away from your right shoulder as you draw your legs closer towards you. You'll feel this stretch in the outer right hip. Lengthen the back of the neck, chin down. And then extend the left leg long. So you've got your natural lumbar curve, and interlace your fingers behind your right hamstring. Flex your left foot and turn the toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe you can slide your hands a little bit higher on that right leg. But you don't want to be all rounded. You don't want this leg to be bulging up. Otherwise, it means that you're rounding your lower back. And just point and flex through your right foot, just to lengthen through the calf. Chin down. Left toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So this leg that's on the floor, there's an inward rotation. The left inner leg rolls down, the outer thigh rolls up. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So place your feet onto the floor. Place your left ankle in front of your right thigh. Move your left knee forward, again without letting your hips sway to the right. So move that right hip towards the left as the left knee presses forward. Flex through your left foot, through the left ankle, and lengthen your inner ankle so there's no wrinkles. Keep moving your left knee forward with the glute muscle there. Chin down, deep breaths in and out through the nose, stretching through your left outer hip now. The sacrum bone should be on the floor there. The right knee is going towards your right shoulder, not your nose. So right knee, right shoulder. Okay, extend the right leg forward, draw your left knee towards your belly, find your natural lumbar curve. You should be able to get your hand under your lower back there, it should be touching the floor. Now keep that, extend your left leg up to the ceiling. So you might be lower on the leg here. Eventually your hands will slide up higher, but Okay, you don't want this right thigh to bulge up. If that's happening, it means your lower back is pressing into the floor there. Flex your right foot, so the leg that's on the floor, flex that foot and turn the toes up towards the ceiling. Knit your chin down, and then just a few times point and flex your left ankle. You roll on to your right side. Look at the time here again. Okay, so come up onto your knees, just fold over the front edge of your mat so it's a little bit padded under your knees. Tuck your toes under. Take your hands to your lower back and squeeze your elbows in. Lift the front of your pubis up. Lift your heart and see if you can look up at the ceiling. Eventually you will be able to come down onto the heels, but you want to keep the hips over the plumb line of your knees. So if your hips go back like this, it's not the position you want. So keep your hands on your lower back. Just finding the back bend there. Back of the neck is long, shoulder blades together. Lift the chest up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you keep your toes tucked under and just sit back on your heels so you're stretching the bottom of the feet, and you'll stretch through the quadricep there. Okay, wrap your right arm on top of your left, give yourself a big hug, stretching behind the shoulder blade. Maybe you can bring the back of the hands towards each other like this. Your right elbow should be on top of the bicep there, so you're not just crossing your forearms, you're crossing above the elbow, and eventually the palms will come together. The elbows up, away from your face. Now this is a lot in your toes. Drop your head forward. And then release your arms, point the toes back. You can sit with a cushion between your feet if needed. So now you're stretching the top of the shin. I just change your arm. So now your left arm goes on top of the right. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe the back of the hands can come towards each other. Remember, you're crossing at the biceps. Maybe the palms come towards each other. Turn the thumbs towards the third eye point, corkscrewing the arms tighter, and the elbows lift up, and the forearms move away from your face. Then you drop your head forward. Try not to round in your lower back. You can see I've got my natural lumbar curve there. And release your hands down. Bring your right hand on top of your left, thumbs together, and just close your eyes for a moment, sitting up tall. Just observe your body.